Can't believe there's only two of us here, Bob.
I know. I guess no one else wants to relive our great grand adventure.
It was a great grand adventure. How many years have we been doing this now?
I was thinking it was the 5th or 6th time we've been down there.
Yeah, it's been, nice of you to join us, Dallas.
Don't worry, the bird hunter is here.
I
was glad I packed my waders to bird hunting. It was so wet.
So, folks, this is the Men Podcast. Got Joe here, Dallas Murray, shop manager Bob. And there was supposed to be about 6 others, but the phone in the shop is ringing off the hook. Dude, Hayden was working on an Able reel. Selling a fancy, multicolored,
bonefish one. Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. Let's leave him to do that. That's
Top
what's
of the line.
That's what's going to pay the bills so we can do another company outing the following year. But yeah, there's going to be a few more people dropping into the podcast. We did an absolutely killer trip. Bob says 5-6 years we've been doing this trip as a company.
I think this was the sixth time. Yeah.
And it's grown a little bit each time. We've had as few as a dozen. And this year, how many?
I think we had 27.
27 avid anglers, mostly staff members of Reds.
Yep. A few other industry professionals, but mostly just staff from Reds. And some people, it was the first time swinging for Steelhead, and others been doing it for decades.
Yeah, it's a nice group. So we've had this tradition now every year, the first weekend. We actually don't go over the weekend proper just because we don't want to displace too many other DIY fishermen out there with 27 of us. But yeah, we go and we fish the Snake River and the Grand Ronde River for Steelhead for a few days and do some chukar hunting. And God, we do a whole bunch of stuff. The annual Snake River Classic poker tournament.
Yep, that's a big hit. Yep, absolutely.
Big tradition. We'll unpack that and explain how I lost a small fortune at the very end of that tournament. Would have been my first time winning, but as they say, it wasn't in the cards. And then Dallas, you headed up the bird hunting operation. Tell us about chukar hunting Hell's Canyon and your love-hate relationship with that piece of ground.
Yeah, the saving grace on this trip was definitely the views that you get when you get up into the Hell's Canyon proper, if you will, are absolutely spectacular. The bird hunting this year was not so spectacular, and we'll blame that mainly on Mother Nature. It was very wet conditions this year, but still birds to be found. It's always fun. We had a handful of us that get to go. Our guides for full-time for upland birds, so it's always fun when you get to run your dogs and shoot behind them at the same time. So it's a fun experience for us to be able to run our dogs in some of the biggest country that you're going to find in the Pacific Northwest and
biggest
really,
or steepest.
Yeah,
it's the biggest
steepest
country in the world, dude. What are you talking about in the Northwest? It's Bobby, give us a little background on Hell's Canyon.
I don't know if I'm the guy for that. It's a heck of a canyon.
It is some of the steepest, prettiest chukar grounding that you can possibly find, with rock bands every 500 feet that are going to hold a number of birds. It's some of the hardest country to navigate, both for the dogs and for the hunters. And the coolest thing about it is we were on the Washington side for the most part, and you look directly across at the Idaho side, and you're like, man, it's just as pretty over there as it is over here. So when you get that perfect covey rise and you fire 2 shots and miss, and then look up to beautiful hillsides, you're like, okay, it's not quite as bad as I remember. But the hardest thing is the country. You half the time your birds are going about what seem to be only 10 feet. They fall, they end up 300 yards downhill. So you get these really long, beautiful retrieves. It's very important you have a dog that likes to retrieve in that country.
What dogs did all you guys run?
Gosh, we did the math on our first night. So we brought a dog trailer down there. It's a 6-hole, but we had 8 dogs in it. And the way that trailer lays out is quite perfect. And then we did bring a Labrador retriever named Stella.
Stella came?
Yeah.
She didn't actually go hunting.
Yeah.
She just went fishing.
Yeah, she likes to give Steelhead kisses every time they get caught.
she's more of a waterfowl dog, not a Hell's Canyon chukar dog.
Yeah, so we had 3 GSPs, 2 English pointers, 2 setters, and a American Brittany, all of which you've probably seen on the Reds hunting or maybe hunted behind if you've hunted the preserve here in Central Washington with us. Great experience.
So you had Digger, Denny, Moose, Lucy, Tav.
Vetter, Nix, Stella. Missing anybody?
That's
Tuffy, which is a young pointer. He had a great experience.
whose dog's Tuffy?
That's Leif's newest dog. Probably haven't
Oh.
seen him much. He's only a year old, so it was a good learning experience for him. A lot of bird contact, which is what you hope for when they're a year old. But no, great. One day we had a guy's day off. It was all guides on our way down, and we ended up getting a mixed bag out there and shot a wild rooster, some huns, and a chukar. No quail. We were going for the grand slam, but we could not.
Dude, I'm still pissed you didn't make chukar hash for breakfast one
sorry.
morning. We had a talk about this.
We did have a talk about it, and I decided that staying up till midnight to watch Joe lose in poker and then waking up at 5 a.m. to make chukar hash was not in the cards.
Oh, look at this who joined us.
Oh,
Young fellas. Oh,
your hand
big-
still looks hot.
Big Stick Hayden Williams, high producer of the trip.
Steelhead getter right here.
Hey, I got to be honest with you. Some of the guys are saying that you have an asterisk by your name for having the most steelhead on this trip.
Why? Because I went on the boat. But guess what? I went back to their side of the river and I still got one.
Still got it.
You went back to fish with the peasants on the roadside.
I did. I said, I'll see what this is all about.
Yeah. So our good friend Eric Neufeld brought his jet boat, which was really cool. Although I didn't get to go in the jet boat, but it sounded cool. Tell us about the jet boat work.
It was really cool. It was very, very kind of Eric to bring that and do that for us. It was really cool.
Very sophisticated type of fishing. None of this in the truck, out of the truck, drive to the next spot, in and out, in and out. He just drives you right to the spot.
He does. He goes, go stand there. And then,
Yeah.
sure shit, there's a fish there.
Yeah.
Eric,
It's like that.
so Eric Neufeld is a longtime friend of ours, longtime industry professional, sales rep for Winston rods, Echo rods, Squala fishing products.
Ross
Ross.
and Abel.
Yeah, Ross reels, Able reels. Hey, nice job on that Able reel sale, by the way.
You like that?
Yeah. So anyway, Eric's been. I met Eric in the mid 2000s. He worked at Alaska West.
Oh,
Yeah, we were BSing about that.
That was the original Spey cartel.
Mhm.
Were the boys at AK West. I fished there in 2008, and I think Eric had just gotten done guiding there when I went to Alaska West.
Yeah. You went to the Connect Talk.
Yeah, I mean, I got to fish with Ed Ward. Charles St. Pierre was on the trip with us. Ryan Petzold was one of my guides. Trevor Kovich.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like so many but like at the time, there were some of the guides that were quite a bit older at the time that were like really the godfathers of modern Skagit style Spey, Pacific Northwest Spey. And then I still remember Trevor Kovich teaching me how to parry poke in 2008. And I was like, man, because like you're angling downstream a lot, for this particular spot on Chinook. And I was like, God, that's cool, dude. I was like, and it fixes all my bad anchors and all sorts of stuff. But I still remember taking that. If there was one thing I learned on that trip, learn how to poke.
Yeah.
But
Bobby never talked about poking.
I learned it with Steve on this trip. He was like really teaching me how to do it well. And he was just a much quieter cast. Didn't have
It's
to worry
quiet.
about I think he was getting sick and tired of me spooking all the water. Because I would show him my snap tee and he came down and was like, hey, try this thing. And I was like,
It's powerful. It's just powerful.
everything lines up. It's one of my most powerful Skagit casts because I can get everything nice and straight. But yeah, Eric's been, his Spey experience is tremendous and he has spent a lot of time on those waters too. So just being able to learn from him and extract bits and pieces of his wisdom. Something he was telling me last year, but I didn't experience that. And maybe you guys can tell me, he was talking about, various maneuvers for the hang down. So, you're swinging for steelhead and, it's very common to hook fish on the hang or the dangle, when that fly lines up straight below you. And he was talking about different maneuvers that he was doing to pick fish up on that hang. It just takes a few seconds. Either you mend it in, Jeremiah was talking about bopping the fish in the face with it by just dropping your rod tip just in case there's a follower. A lot of those require quite a bit of discipline, which can be hard to find because Spey, you always want that next cast, right? You want
you can only do it on the hang down. You don't want to give them line if they eat it mid swing, right? So real easy for a guy to get a little confused in the heat of the moment.
for sure. And so, that your swing gets the hang, but none of my grabs or fish that I picked up were on the hang. Every single fish was out there broadside and early swing. Was that the same for you?
Yeah. Water was warm.
Yeah.
I think that was a big part of it. But yes, me and Bob were talking about it. I hooked 2 fish where I had actually almost like the fly was coming out. They were seeing the fly like perpendicular. It was a broadside, like,
yeah,
a come and get me grab.
Same. Yeah, everything was really early in the swing, and I don't know if that's because the fish were holding further off or because it's warmer and they were just more aggressive. They wanted a little faster swing, but Eric's really good at a lot of that little nuancy stuff, like old school, like spay fishing, where it comes into the hang and you don't give up. You mend it in and you bring it another couple feet or two to, freshen it up. But I was so proud of myself a few times. I'm like, oh yeah, like I've been. You think, oh, I've done it 5 times. I should get a bite now, right? It's so small minded. But Eric has a wealth of knowledge to share for spay fishermen. He's so good at it, and he's had so many encounters with steelhead that it's a treat being able to learn some things from him.
It was amazing. Yeah.
Yes, the boat fishing was cool, huh?
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to like. I think going and seeing that kind of water where it's high odds, like it was obviously it was less pressured fish over there, right? But also like the spots we were fishing were different than a lot of the stuff that we are usually fishing on the Snake, if that makes sense. Like
small rock or what?
Small rock. The biggest thing that like I took away from all of that was like fishing water where your fly's relevant. So like if it was deep out there, if it was like a real deep pool or something, or it looked slow and like fish would be in it, but it was real deep, we didn't even bother with it. We were fishing, I mean,
maybe a few feet,
4 feet deep. But maybe. I mean, yeah, you think about it, like George Cook talks about, like you can put on the heaviest sink tip you want, you're not getting that deep out there. Like your fly is never super, super deep way out there. So like it wasn't deep out there. The fly had to be in front of the fish. It's not, 5 feet above them.
Yeah, there's like a feasibility standard that, swing water on the Snake River has to have. What was it running? 20,000 CFS?
16,000 when we were there.
So 16.
It's just like the Yakima right now.
Yeah, we're looking at the Yakima as we record this podcast, and we're at like moderate flooding right now, I think is like, the official nomenclature, I think, according to the chart, is moderate flooding. And what's the purple line on the graph? That's like
that's historic.
I think it was heavy flooding.
Heavier extreme flood.
Yeah, like holy shit, I'm glad we didn't get near the purple line, but this is going to be a good reset for the river. So the water you were fishing, for those listening, like where we fish on the Snake River, we do a lot of roadside fishing. So we're driving up, we're grabbing a piece of water, and we're learning tons of spots because the Snake's a gigantic river, and there's a ton of historical named spay spots, just like any river. But what Hayden was able to do is hop in a jet boat and get to some water that has been fresh for probably days, or weeks. There hasn't been as much pressure on some of those runs that you can only get to with a jet boat.
Yeah, I think it was just Eric fishing those spots. Eric, well, no, there was 2 other.
There were some other
jet, nowhere near as much, not 30 guys driving up and down it.
Yeah. we would constantly fish the same water. Like, man, a couple of the runs. I mean, these are our names, so I don't care if we share them. But like the Peacock or Broken Shitter. Anybody catch anything at Broken Shitter?
Mm-hmm.
Steve calls it mile marker 4, but that's not a really very good.
Oh, I think Harwood may have.
Harwood did get one out of 4.
Yeah,
I didn't know it had it was called Broken Shitter.
There was somebody dumped an old toilet over the side there, and there's a broken toilet.
Yeah.
I rolled it partially upright just in case anybody needed to use it.
There you go.
Needless to say, there was no seat, remaining on it. So it was cracked porcelain. I'm not sure it'd be all that comfortable.
Bob and I were talking about like,
dude, I should put that in Steve Vernella's calendar. Effed up old shitters.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Right there on the Snake River, dude. You could, if we got it close enough, you could spay. You could spay fish right from it.
The porcelain throne, man.
So the jet boat fishing was good. You ended up as high rod. You landed 4 steelhead, Hayden.
Yeah.
Okay, walk us through your rig. What you were fishing, kind of what fly, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was fishing like an older long Skagit on a 12.5-foot 7-weight.
You can say the name of it. I know you hunted this down at another fly shop. You went and cheated on the company.
It's a Scientific Angler Skagit Freightliner. They stopped making it when I was in high school, and I bought one off of, what is that, like Camo Fire, that like discount hunting goods website, and I didn't know grains or anything back then.
I think you have like a sentimental attachment to this damn line.
Dude, it chucks, man. It chucks.
You chuck, dude.
Yeah, I think it might have something to do with the caster.
Yeah, maybe. Noah chucks it. Danny chucks it. Dude, it's a zipper. But I was fishing a 5-5 T11 IMO. And the only reason I think the IMO makes any difference is I think I just don't blow my anchor as much with the IMO. I think that you get a little more bite with the sink tip.
Oh, than a true 5-5 mo.
Yeah, it did.
Explain what a mo tip is for people that are like just not too savvy on spay and kind of why it would be unique.
So it's a standard, like non-tapered dual density tip. So you have to on this.
You
one,
just
to be
spoke effing Latin to people.
I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna get into it.
Non-tapered dual density tip.
Yeah. So there's two densities. The one part of it is float.
It's a sink tip.
The other, it's a sinking tip.
How long is it?
10 feet. The
Yeah.
other part of it is it's tungsten material, so it sinks fast. So the T11 is 11 grains of tungsten per foot. So you can extrapolate that out 10 feet of it.
Yawn. Why would somebody want a mo tip?
Because it sinks, man.
But it's not all sinking. The whole 10 feet.
Yeah, so the tip weighs the same. This is where it gets confusing, I guess. The tip will weigh the same, like a 10-foot, say 5 feet of float, 5 feet of sink, will weigh the same as 10 feet of sink. So for your casting setup where you need a certain amount of grains or weight to cast your stuff, they weigh the same, but one sinks twice as much as the other one because there's twice as much sink. So part of it floats on the lighter one, right?
Why wouldn't I want just 10 feet of slow sink?
I think
It'd get down about the same amount.
You think so? A slow sink, like a 10-foot slow sink?
Or 15.
I like it because you can kind of hang it around boulders and stuff.
There it is.
That's what you wanted me to say, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's,
I will just share my rig because I feel like I finally getting her tuned in too. Because I did pretty much the same thing. I just did it a little bit differently.
okay.
So I took and when you get into especially December fishing on big, slick, slow water, you need that floating head to drive your fly and your swing across because all the current's on the surface, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like you get 12 inches under the surface, there's almost no current.
It's crawling, yeah.
Yeah, it's crawling. So you need the floating head to walk your fly through and swing it. And if your sink tip's too long, it just gets down there and there's not enough current to actually pull the swim through and let it finish.
Yeah.
So if you've got a larger proportion of floating line versus your sink tip with a short sink tip, I think you can drive those swings out at the end in some of that really greasy, slow water.
Yeah.
Whereas a longer sink tip, say you had 15 feet to take it to an extreme end, which 15-foot sink tips aren't uncommon, but that 15 feet just hangs, if it hangs just deep enough or long enough, it doesn't walk out at the end.
No.
And so I took my Scandi line and I started out I got my first fish doing this. I started out with a 10-foot poly leader, which poly leader is not a sink tip. It's really skinny. It's really light. It'll sink at the same rate, but I like it because it's just skinny. I think it cuts through the wind for me pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
It just lays out nice. But I got into the spot fishing just above the rise, the slick above the rise, which is really kind of a pain in the neck to fish.
Crawly and
it's really crawly, and there's like one little spot that the current is in, and I totally screwed it up the first time I got in there. I got snaggy and was snagging, and it wouldn't swing out, but I'm like, God, I know there's a fish sitting on that lip right above that where the water speeds up and sucks down into the proper riffle.
Yeah.
And I went back up to the top and I took my poly leader and just cut it in half down to about 5 feet. And I just reattached my tippet with an Albright knot. And so I got rid of 5 feet of sink. And I went back in and fished the exact same piece of water with 5 feet of sink and more, so my proportion of float to sink was much greater. And then my fly walked out, just swung out really nicely. And it changed the swing dramatically. And I actually don't think I was fishing much shallower. I think that I just had more control to keep pulling it all the way through.
The head had more authority over the tip.
That's a really great way of describing it.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the fish that was the Zen fish that I made.
Oh, that you spilled all
my Zen as I was hooking the fish. I was so proud of myself. I was like, I hooked the fish. Very inopportune time to grab one. And I'm like, as soon as I opened that can mid-swing, I was like, this was the worst idea on planet Earth.
Bad
Fish
idea.
eats. Zen goes everywhere. Danny said there was a hold the pauses in the back, Eddie down.
We were just sitting. I was walking through. I was like, I'm gonna drop off.
Hey, we just had Steve drop in and join us, so we got one more player now.
And Danny.
Yeah, we didn't get Danny introduced. I think Danny might have got big fish the trip.
Big fish of the trip.
One you got was that the last day?
Yeah.
It was a really nice fish, and you
Great fish.
didn't even use any fish size enhancing strategies on the photo. It was like just a really clean, true photo. I saw that thing.
I just held it straight out. I was too excited. I couldn't be bothered to make it look bigger. I was just excited to have one.
That was a good fish. How'd you get that fish?
We had to beg him to fish that run.
Yeah,
he
they
was
didn't
done.
want to
He was
fish.
taking his waders off, and I was like, Danny, fish it.
I was
please."
absolutely beaten and destroyed from a weekend of nothing. Radio silence.
We listened to Sound of Silence on the way to that run.
Yeah.
We listened to sad music.
So yeah, how'd you pick that fish up? Were you fishing?
There's a little bit of a setup. So we wake up the last day, right?
Yep.
We look at the river.
Because you guys fished overtime.
Yeah,
stayed
yeah.
extra. And we split up in our fishing groups. We went 3 and 3. And Bob and David and Dalzell went downriver a ways. And me, Hayden, and Skylar went to the elevator. And we get there and it's like chocolate milk. And we were like, oh, not good.
Because this atmospheric river that came through and made all this flooding had then hit. Did it hit the Snake and the Grand Ronde?
Oh, yeah.
probably both. I mean,
Both rivers.
For sure the
were.
Grand
for sure
Ronde.
the Grand Ronde.
The Ronde went to 4,500.
Yeah.
But we didn't know that.
Yeah.
You
So a
know,
lot of
at the
that
time.
mud's probably coming out.
So it was coming down. We get to the elevator. You can't even see like your foot at ankle deep. So we're like, I guess we're done fishing. Let's just pack it up. Let's go meet the boys and see what they're up to. We get down to them. We tell them we're like, bad news. The river's destroyed. Like we need to leave. So we go down to the Peacock. And we're like, all right, let's just look at it. And it had just enough color to fish. You'd be like, oh, you could see. Let's fish it for a little bit. And then they all went out. And I was like, I'm done. I'm not fishing. I'll just watch. And Hayden was on my case. Like, you need to go fishing. You need to follow through.
Well, you hadn't hooked a fish yet.
Yeah,
I hadn't
the
hooked a
whole
fish.
trip.
Yeah, I hadn't hooked anything all trip. I was
Dude,
just done.
a little stick-to-itiveness is very.
Guess how many casts it took him?
It took like 4 casts.
Were you first guy in, or were you
second guy in.
okay? Who were you fishing behind?
No,
Well, David stepped in first the way top, and I was like, go low, David. And he did. And he did.
Like 100 yards. It wasn't. It
was a
wasn't
long
like diabolical low.
You get a double asterisk on that one. They had to convince you to go, and you stepped in below. Bad David.
Uh
Uh-huh.
huh.
That
Bad
David got ripped pretty good up above him, like minutes after he got
Oh, yeah.
too.
Now it's Bad Danny.
That's bad. David.
Bad Danny. What was that? A fly you tied?
It was just a black and blue hobo with a big old green butt.
Oh,
Butt man.
The huge green
The
butt,
green butt.
like a monstrous green butt.
what material was it? That Zelon or Antron?
It was Fusion Dub.
Was it Fusion Dub?
Senyo's Fusion Dub,
Oh,
Just like an Antron dub.
and just ball it up, make a huge big ball out of it.
did it eat early in the swing?
Like halfway through,
Okay, so good speed on the fly
because
when it
that
picked it up.
peacock on that inside, like sort of soft, right, and you could see the seam of the current, like 20 yards out. So as soon as like the line got to like that seam, which is where the color change was from like dirty to a little more clear, that's where it ate.
Nice.
And
And did
just-
you quit fishing after you landed that fish or keep fishing?
Immediately, I was done.
Yep.
I was just happy to
Get
get
on the last cast and ended on a high note.
Yeah,
Had a cigarette about it.
yeah. I had a cigarette about it. Sat on the bank and just
Did you have a cigarette for real?
immediately,
man.
instantly.
We soaked it in.
Who brought cigarettes?
I did.
We all did.
Like a bunch of teenagers, dude, just going on.
Harwood had to buy a pack thing too when he saw everyone else had cigarettes.
Oh yeah.
bunch of naughty kids, out for the weekend.
Yeah.
Get
We
the
were
pack.
up to no good.
Yeah, that's funny, man.
Yeah, I cut the fly off and now it's sitting in my room, soon to be hung on my visor.
Excellent, man. Congrats. What a great way to pick up fish. Steve, you got fish?
I got fish, hooked one, lost one, and then landed one on the last day that I fished last morning.
Last cast?
Nope, it was not. It was pretty early in the session. Yes,
Had to go back for more.
had to go back for more. I kept working at it.
You're the only one who caught a fish in that run this year.
Yeah, and that was the only time I fished that run.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yes.
even fish it.
It doesn't swing great.
No.
The swing is funky in there in the top
Yeah.
top third of it.
The producing spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's good right off the bat, and then you get into a dead spot. And that dead spot is where I caught that fish too.
Huh?
I mean, I let, Ashton we put at the top part that swings really well. Hardwood went to the bottom.
Hardwood low hold.
Hardwood low hold all trip, man.
Dude, I could tell on the last day he was so excited that you had to go make a phone call because then he would get out early and also get first water.
Oh, yeah. Which as soon as I got done with that phone call and walked down there, he was landing a fish hardwood.
Good for him, man.
Yes.
Yeah, he landed a nice one. At least, I don't know. He landed a couple, didn't he?
Good. I think I got 2.
Yeah.
You got one on the first day and the last.
What was your rig? What were you casting?
The rod was an Echo DH2, Deck Hogan 2, which is like a grandfathered rod because it used to be Bobby's.
I sold it to a different guy in the shop, and then he sold it to Danny.
Yeah.
It's a legacy rod.
And that was
It's a legacy
wasn't that
rod.
the
Legacy
first
rod.
fish on the rod?
Is the price
Yeah,
of that rod on the resale market holding, or is it going up?
It's going up now that it's caught a
going up
fish.
little bit.
It took 3 owners before it caught
It
a
never
fish.
caught
That
a
was the
steelhead
first fish
before,
on it.
before I came around. I popped his cherry last year on the Ronde.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And then I got one this year.
It took 3 owners.
It was super cursed.
That's why I gave it up. I was like, this thing doesn't work.
Oh my gosh, that is funny. And were you throwing Skagit heads?
Skagit head, yeah. My original head had broken on the first day there. Jeremiah, our SA rep, hooked it up with a Skagit head.
Awesome.
Gave me a 510, and it was casting pretty well.
Dude, he's a good spay fisherman.
He's
Man,
really
that
good. Yeah.
Dude, I mean,
he can cast a mile.
the amount of spay talent on this trip, I fished with Brendan and Jeremiah on the Ronde one day. I mean, both those guys are just, they've got all that unbelievable little skill for the tough casting situations.
Mhm.
Was it Jeremiah's Instagram handle, Jeremiah Super Spay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he changed it though.
I think it's still super
It's
spec.
got to be super spec.
Oh, he's got one for his
For his
Stonefly
company.
sales.
Yeah.
And then his personal is Jeremiah Super Spay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You better get some followers.
Yeah. Yeah. At Jeremiah Super Spay.
James and Curtis are good sticks too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Grundon's.
Yep.
So we had our industry partners, guys from Grundon's are awesome. James came all the way from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah.
It's great. Brad Beefus all the way from Midland, Michigan.
Yep.
Came out, went bird hunting, spay fished.
Yeah.
We had Kevin Sloan, founder and owner of Squala. I mean, another friggin' spay guru. I mean, he had the Swedish built rod that was
Yeah.
unbelievably friggin' cool.
Yeah.
Have you guys cast those Nom rods?
Mm-mm.
I've heard all about them.
You heard all about them too. Who was it that was telling me that, it was Eric Nickham had cast them before. And I will tell you, I mean, all the rods are great rods, right? Any modern, $1,000 rod you get had better be pretty awesome. I mean,
Line is the most important part of it.
For sure.
line's the most important part of the equation, but so you guys know, I've been fishing my first spay rod that I got in 2002. Wife bought it for me for our first wedding anniversary. It's $256 on the Sage Pro form at the time. Might as well have been $1 million. She wrote me this nice card. I want you to buy that rod you've been talking about. We're dead ass broke. And 99 out of 100 times, I'm like, oh, nice gesture. Really appreciate it. We're broke. And this was one instance where I was kind of like in my guide career, I was like, if I'm going to keep doing this, I have to have some tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that rod in 2002, caught my first space steelhead on it. And to this day, I've caught my last space steelhead on it. But I will say that I casted a couple of the R8s, just played around with them a little bit, but I did fish that old 6126 3-piece, which is highly inconvenient, folding them up in your rig. God bless 4-piece rods. But I did run that rod and it fishes fine and great. And I'm real familiar with it and all that. But I casted that Nom and then I casted a couple. The R8s are amazing. And I casted a Winston Air 2 TH a couple of times. And I realized I had a very distinct performance disadvantage in fishing 20 plus year old equipment. I wouldn't recommend anybody goes and pursues a 20-year-old rod. But if you have one and you like it, stick with it. It's great. Were you fishing your
Scott swing. Most of the time, yeah.
Is that a 13-footer?
12 and a half.
12 and a half.
7126.
That's what I was fishing.
Yeah.
And you're running a full-length Skagit on that?
Yes. Yeah. Running the Skagit one.
And you love that 10 feet of T8.
Yeah, for where the level was at, I will say fishing the Grand Ronde, if I would have spent any more time in it, I would have put T11 on in there. The Ronde was up quite a bit since the last time we were there.
Yeah, and I feel like you have to dig those fish out a little bit more on the snake. The fish are a little floatier, it seems like. Is it softer currents?
Yeah, definitely.
And what flies?
Hobos, I mean, pink and black, wine and black. Those were the two I fished most of the time.
I got a grab. You guys know I tied that muttler I was so excited about.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I tied 4 of those things, and I bent 3 of the hooks out. God, those hooks were terrible. They were like,
We should have known that one dull one was in the package,
dude,
man.
I bent 3 of those hooks out. They were old Dairikis that I had, and they would have been a fine hook, but God, they just bent so easy, man. I mean, they're just horrible compared to, some of the other stuff.
Well, that's the nice thing about fishing some of those loop hooks.
You can replace the hook.
Which I will say, the first fish I lost down there, I had straightened that hook out, opened it up enough, hung it on a big rock, and the hook was bent to the point I had to grab my hemostats and bend it back. And then, of course, the next fish I hook with it, I lost the fish. And I was like, I should have just replaced that hook. But I wasn't going to take time to do it then. And then, yeah.
Yeah, I tied on crap hooks, just
yourself into it.
I tied on crap hooks on just stuff that I had. It's not an articulated fly that I could swap a hook out on.
Joe, I'm pretty sure that when you opened that pack up and we were tying, a moth flew out of the...
Yeah, I think just the pure age of those hooks. I haven't tied steelhead flies in a while. But I did get a big yank on, this is kind of a cool little scenario, but I did get a big yank on that muddler, like a very distinct, big pluck, heavy current, and I'm like, I brought my fly in, checked it. First thing, just check the fly, make sure that it's not twisted. I didn't get the hook, tied up in the tippet or anything. And then I cut it off and I tied on one of the little tiny blue hobos. Didn't move my feet, didn't change my running line. And threw the very next cast in with that little blue hobo. Yeah, very direct, clean hookup, landed the fish. But I was disappointed that
little tiny hook
on that. Yeah, it's like a freaking trout hook.
Little hook.
No, sucks.
I love the
again.
I don't.
Again, that was a fly I've had in. I have this leather steelhead wallet my mom got me like 20 years ago at a farmer's market in Portland. It's really cool. It's got a wool in it and stuff. But those flies have been in there. We haven't sold that tiny blue hobo in years. And I still had some of those tiny blue hobos in there. So it's just what I had to put on. But yeah, I did change flies, and I did get a re-grab on that fish, which was really cool to just reconnect with it.
Yeah, it's always cool when they eat it again.
Yeah, I like fishing that muddler. I wish I'd got one on that fly that I'd actually tied.
Was it the orange butt or the green butt one today?
It was the green butt. The orange one I threw away. I actually was disgusted with, that was the first one I tied.
Didn't even like him.
Dude, that was like, I took a couple mulligans, and I really like how the purple and green ones turned out.
Oh, yeah.
And they're real floaty. The marabou in the muddler swings really slow, and that marabou whips on its own really nice. I really like that pattern. They came out really good. I would absolutely tie them again, but I'm going to up my hook game a little bit on that, because I bent 3 of them out and I only had 1 left. Then I think I lost though.
It's too high stakes. Landing a steelhead is worth changing the hook.
Oh, what I was going to say about that hobo, I think the hobo, like, naturally, it's a really, like, it swims really good in slow water. It casts really great. But I think part of it is that short shank hook and that really flexible, it's Dacron.
It's Dacron they use.
And I think that it just hooks fish really well. I think that's part of it. I think per grab, the hookup you get on that really light hobo body is great. I will compare it to, like, and Steve, you can speak to this. I literally to this day have never landed a fish on the fish taco. You know the one I'm talking about? It's like a hobo. It's a little heavier.
An ostrich hobo or something.
Yes, it's an ostrich hobo.
Fish as thin as that hobo.
It's tied with Maxima or something.
Real stiff, yeah.
It's real stiff, and I feel like I've gotten a lot of bumps and grabs on it, but I think the hobo just hooks them.
I've gone away from wire. I used to tie a lot of flies with trailing, like intruder wire. You might as well just have a long shank hook. It's too long. And half the time it kinks and bends and you can't get a hook back on it good. The Dacron, or like Skylar and I tie a lot with like that fire line, which is just a stiffer Dacron. It's way better. And then, like, you think about the swing weight of the fly, and they have no leverage once they're hooked. Like, they can throw that fly around every which way, and they have a little tiny egg hook in their mouth.
I'm going to become a much bigger fan of the Dacron.
Yeah.
Well,
the
it
intruder
used
wire.
to be, even with the hobos that we got in the shop, they didn't leave enough Dacron on there to actually change hooks sometimes.
But they do now.
And they do now.
Dude,
Which
I
is
think
important. Yes, if you're tying flies, you want to give yourself the ability to change the hook.
Absolutely.
Dude, big tackle. They're trying to make you buy new flies.
Yeah, man.
Dude, you got to watch out for big tackle.
They'll get you.
They will get you. They're in coots with Big Pharma and everybody else.
So you guys were all fishing weightless flies?
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
Really? I hooked every single one of mine on a weighted fly.
So there's basically no common denominator.
You went
You know what the-
Yellowstone Park.
You know what the common denominator
I got
was?
one on your
You were
side.
jet
I got
pegging
one
in
on your
He
side.
was behind me every time.
That was the real. I was mouth breathing and I was
He
behind
had to be
Bob.
behind Bob every time.
Every time.
Bobby, what happened?
I just, I it wasn't like he was right behind me. He was 100 yards back.
He was
You know,
whispering sweet nothings to me. He was like, "Hey, go up there. Go
Yeah.
above me."
Why don't you start out back there in the next run?
Yeah.
Then he gets one. So
Man, so we had, Jameson first spay trip, Jonathan first spay trip. They were in the rig with Eric and I. But God, we had so many good conversations about spay fishing, on the way down with both Jonathan and Jameson.
Jeremy's first spay trip, he caught a
And he
steelhead
got one
from the
first
very first spot.
Caught one.
immediately.
Caught one, hooked one.
God, man. Now there's like,
Brand new rod. He came into the fly shop and bought the rod.
Yeah, we set him up.
We set him up on Saturday. He fished it on Sunday. Caught a fish.
Danny here got him some flies.
Oh yeah, picked out his arsenal.
Mhm.
Said this is what you need.
God, that's great,
Got
man.
What fly did he catch his first one on?
Hobo. I don't know. Flavor black and blue.
I think it was black and blue.
Yeah, it's tough to beat that hobo, man. I found myself trying to stick with exclusively flies I tied, and anytime a little doubt crept in, that hobo went right back on the end of that line. Something I did a little different. I ran much shorter tippet, on this trip.
Mhm.
I think 2 of my fish I got on 2 feet of tippet. Those polymeters are pretty skinny, but I still usually run 5 feet. But I felt like that swing control just on that short tippet was better. What were you guys, do you guys have much an opinion on tippet length?
I take my spool. I go
So that's one wingspan.
one wingspan.
Which for Danny, that's about 4 feet.
Sometimes if I'm feeling lazy, I'll do
The rest of us would be fine.
Hayden's 3.5 feet.
That's why I was getting it, man. I was connected.
I run pretty short.
Yeah.
3-4 feet.
God, I read there was a guy named Dennis Dixon who used to have an amazing blog, when the internet first became a thing.
Yeah.
And Dennis Dixon had one of the best blogs, but he fished a ton on the Stillaguamish, Skagit, Sauk, and a bunch of rivers. And I would say he was very instrumental in my just interest and consumption of swinging and steelhead information.
Yeah.
And, he came out of kind of the glory years of that Pacific Northwest steelheading. But man, he would talk about short tippet all the time, and just was a real big, at least some of the blogs I read, was a real big advocate of running tippets down to 18 inches.
Yeah.
And just keeping that, if you're doing it right, we're keeping that fly downstream of that tip, but just the control you have on those short tips
I
and
think
the stability that you have.
yeah, it goes into the same thing we were talking about sink tips, where it's got more, like your tip has more authority on your fly when it's, that far away versus when it's way down there, especially if you're fishing weighted, I think.
Yeah, you're just drawing that fly through under clean tension.
Yeah.
It's hard to put your finger on why it's better.
It's engaged, man.
It's engaged. So in addition to all this spay fishing, we had a poker tournament. Did you guys know we had a poker tournament?
Hayden knew me.
I was
Hayden
up first.
Hayden knew it. Yeah,
I got out pretty early.
dude. Tell us what was? Do you remember what your hand was when you were the first? So first off, Steve can lay the poker tournament out. Steve was the grand marshal of the poker tournament. He provided the chips. How long have you had those poker chips? That we
Long
used?
time. Yes.
Can you explain the origin of the poker chips that we were using in here?
I was a card dealer in college, and once the card game at one of the bars in Helena, and when the poker game went sideways, the owner kind of disappeared, and the poker chips were left there. We had to get them cleared out, so
You had to destroy the evidence.
I stored them. and I'm still storing them. And yes, nice clay casino chips. They're very nice chips. I didn't store all of them, and I wish I would have, because we could have used a few more poker chips.
Yeah.
Big group.
I could use.
So yes, it was a very standard format Texas Hold'em tournament. We started with 3 tables.
And no one's
Split
played ever
everything into
rules.
3 tables. And what?
Each table played by different rules.
Well, I don't know how you
Regarding the bet, regarding the betting on small blinds and big blinds, we didn't offer a re-raise.
Well, you should have an option for re-raise. Small blind can raise if they want, and big blind gets an opportunity to raise if they want to. But usually whoever's big blind would speak up and say raise. You shouldn't have to ask them directly. Opportunity to raise every time, every round.
We need our hands held in that term.
We're going to get better in the next
Big blind doesn't raise very often.
Yeah.
Did when Joe was big blind.
I can explain what happened.
Yeah, you were being
You got a whole bunch
bully
of
on
chips
that
and you were
table.
mean about it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, come on, guys, what's 1,000?
He was bullying people around.
I was bullying people around, and then it didn't work at the end. Hayden, what happened when you got knocked out? First person knocked out. What do you remember? What your hand was? What flopped? What?
I don't remember a damn thing, man. I was like, I don't know. I was kind of burning through them already. I was like, man, my stacks. I was kind of looking around the table, and I was like, I have significantly less than everyone else on the table.
At our table, there were a number of guys that were just not going to fold. Period.
I folded a few times.
Everyone folded a few times, but once someone decided they were going to play, they were going to play.
That's about how I played it, and then I forget who it was. Was it Neufeld or was it
Dalzell?
Dalzell? It was like, Hayden, I'll match you if you just go all in. And I was like, you know what, man, why not? And I had some bullshit. And I didn't have anything. I didn't have a pair. I didn't have nothing.
So Steve, talk about how the table's condensed and how we manage the tournament with all these people.
Well, as soon as you get down to 3 or 4 players at one table, you start looking to relocate them to another table if they've got room to keep the tables full. And so, our table was down to 3 or 4 people pretty fast. And the others, I don't think the others even had anyone out yet.
We were down to 3 before they raised the blinds.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you were at our table. You were having, yeah.
Yeah.
You saw me die.
So
yes.
I jumped into Danny's table where you were on that table initially, right?
Oh, yeah, I didn't last very long either. Yeah.
Oh. I came over with a mountain of chips.
Eric Neufeld was a weapon for a little bit, and he didn't even want to be there. And finally.
He liked it once he sat down.
Yeah, once he was going,
Yes.
Yeah, so I got
all
on.
Of those reps were pretty serious this year about it. They were loving it.
Yeah, I think it was, Eric stayed in for quite a while.
A pretty good poker player too.
Was he?
Yeah. Brendan from Grundon's. He was in for, I think he was
from
final 5 or 6.
Yeah, Brandon from SA Orvis. Yes.
James was in for quite a while from Grundon's too.
Yeah, he was a sleeper.
Danny was in for quite a while. You were probably last 4.
Mm-hmm. I think I was like 4th place or something.
Wow.
And
I made it to the big kids table. I was feeling good about it.
Years past, we awarded like 4 or 5 prizes to the top 4 or 5 guys. This year, we were just going to do a space setup for whoever won if they were a staff member. And then if a rep won, the rule was that the first Reds staff member out has to do a guided trip for the rep that wins.
That's right.
Yeah, so you owe Kevin Sloan.
Yeah, I was like, so we're fishing, man. And he was like, he's like, this kid doesn't get.
He's crazy if he doesn't take you up on that.
I told him to go spay fish the Click a Tat with you. Yeah, he would like that. He flies out and fishes the Deschutes. He'll fly from Bozeman to Portland, rent a car, and he can be on the Deschutes by 10 a.m.
Damn.
But yeah, it would be easy to tie in and do. Just walk the Click one day. But yeah, man, I got on that last table and I was like, I don't know how many more chips than Sloan, and it was just the 2 of us.
You had, I saw.
Dude, and I did not have that bad of cards, and I just took him basically all in 3 times in a row. And he just kept catching a card. He ended up with a straight out of nothing. He had a pair of 10s and made 3 of a kind on one. He ended up just absolutely annihilating me to the point where at a certain point, we had the same number of chips. And it takes a while. I'm not much of a poker player, but like I learned really quickly, like after the first couple hands, like sometimes when it's just two of you, you don't have to have much to win. It's not like when you got 6 or 8 people at the table, you got to be a lot more careful and fold more and be cautious. I took him in like 3 times in a row when I actually had pretty decent cards, and it would just, God, it did not go my way. I mean, I was like, just go all in. Yeah, I'm taking y'all in. And he'd be like, nah. He couldn't really fold because the blinds were so big at that point. And
You would have had another sentimental rod to be fishing on these trips, one that you won from the poker tournament.
I know. So, yeah, speaking of like special gear, I've become much more sentimental about my fly rods and my gear as of late. I got my name put on that Galvin swing reel. It's kind of cool. You got your name engraved on a reel recently.
Yep. Cool.
And I got my name on that old spay rod that they used to do. Sage used to do that when the guides bought it. But I would have liked to have had a new rod that I won at the poker tournament. But who all has won rods at the Snake River Classic poker tournament?
Curtis, Noe, Dallas,
Colton.
Yeah. Curtis, Noe, Dallas, Colton.
Yeah, Noe won a couple.
Noe was on a tear.
Noe's a pretty good grinder in that poker tournament. He is super patient, and he's just pretty quiet in that tournament. And yeah, he always does really well. I'm looking forward to. We need to probably have a training program for that poker tournament in the off season here, and make sure that we all kind of get tuned in, because we cannot let an industry rep win that poker tournament 2 years in a row. That's going to be unacceptable just from a Reds leadership standpoint.
Well, usually Steve does pretty good, and Steve was out pretty early.
I don't know.
I was out. I've been out early the last few years. Yes, it's just the way it goes.
Well, here we are podcasting on a literal poker table.
Yeah.
We're literally sitting at a poker table in the lodge. There's no reason we shouldn't be practicing to make sure we put these reps into the ground. And they would be providing the spay rods for this most likely. So we should probably be.
We didn't want to beat them up for that this year. We wanted to. The plan is whatever staff member won, we were going to take inventory of what they have and then find out what they wanted. And then there were going to be some very technical sales questions asked about the gear that they wanted
In front of a committee.
before we set them up with, yes, it would have been rod, reel, line, everything.
But I think they should, like,
Nice setup.
maybe there's a prerequisite, like you can win a spay rod, but then they have to go in front of the committee, and then we ask them spay fishing questions.
Yes.
And if they get them wrong, then it goes to the next guy, right?
Or
The value goes.
or it goes down.
You start at
from
like.
Then you wind up with a deck hook.
Yes, it goes down from the premium level to the mid level to the entry level.
Yeah.
So you'd have to be ready for your exam. Yeah, oral exam. And like defending your thesis a bit. Man, what about David on that fiddle?
He's
He can
unbelievable.
play that thing, man.
Dude, he's an icon.
He brought it when we went.
He's very good.
We went on our salmon camping trip this fall.
Mhm.
He brought it, and man, having him play that thing around a campfire, I felt like I was at like some sort of like festival or something. It was awesome.
You're like Friar Tuck, you're jumping around.
It's cool.
He's going to play the national anthem at the Rendezvous this year.
He's talented.
His national anthem rendition was just friggin' amazing. And then when you watch him play, he's just relaxed and smiling and goofing off. Like he just plays it like as casual as breathing, dude.
He loves it. He loves it almost as much or more than fishing.
Doesn't he play gigs with his mom?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He started
Wedding.
playing when he was like 4.
My gosh.
I know.
He can play any song he hears.
He's a special talent. So he'll be playing. So if anybody's listening to this podcast, I don't care if you live in the Northwest or not, come to our rendezvous. We've moved the rendezvous date to the 3rd and final date this year. It's going to be May 2nd. There were some planning issues that we had. It's now May 2nd is the 16th or 17th annual Reds Rendezvous this year. God, that rendezvous was tiny when we started it.
Tiny.
Man, we had like 40 people at the first rendezvous, and we thought we knocked it out of the park.
It was a little bigger than the whitefish tournament that we had.
Dude, is it a whitefish tournament? We did. We had a whitefish tournament. It was like
$100 prize.
Dude, no kidding.
Mark Kane won it, I think.
Big check.
Yeah. We took a picture of Mark. I think it was Mark Kane won it, and we took a picture of him with his check from
No
it.
way.
Big check. We had one of the NASCAR checks.
Then it was for $100.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
How many
We did it in
whitefish?
December.
There was not
Two
a
or
lot.
three.
There was.
We caught 2 or 3.
Oh, dude, I totally forgot. That's the time I tried to smoke the whitefish. but we had a bunch of beers afterwards, so I didn't clean them until the next day. And I tried smoking them in my little chief, and then it wouldn't get up to temperature, and I had to finish them in the oven. It turned into cat food, man.
Yeah.
And I felt really bad about it. Even killing a whitefish and not, eating the entire thing. But I don't know, maybe we revisit the whitefish tourney idea this winter. That'd be a lot of fun, actually. It was a non-sanctioned event, just in case there's anybody from DFW listening to this. But the prize amount was underneath the threshold of which you have to get a permit. Just saying, I know all the rules about it. So don't try me, folks. Yeah, the rendezvous started out tiny, but yeah, May 2nd this year, David will be rocking the fiddle. That was great. And then the food was just out of this world. I mean, God, what a treat. Yeah, tell us what was on the menu, Steve, for those listening.
Night 1, we had bolognese. Night 2 was gumbo.
What was that pasta, that specific pasta we had to serve with
the
bolo?
bucatini, of course. You know, it's hollow, so it absorbs some of the sauce.
Yeah, the bucatini.
Chef Kevin is particular on the bucatini.
Yeah, Chef Kevin from Canyon.
It's worth it.
Oh, dude, Jameson is on the naughty list right now. Why is Jameson on the naughty?
I forgot the chocolate pecan pies.
Oh, man.
We had the bourbon whipped cream there, but we did not have the pies.
Man,
That
Noah
whipped
was
cream
just
got to put to some crazy uses.
Noah was just eating it with his hands.
Did it get broken out and they
Oh
yeah,
at,
in the
at the end of the
dormer-
poker
in the
tournament.
dorm room at night?
no.
Dude, when you say it got put to some crazy uses,
Harwin was making these
Yeah,
crazy
all the
looking
depths of it.
drinks.
Yeah, he made me one of those. He did my cocktail with that. Well, he had that fancy whiskey that Mark Cruzel gave us. He said, "Thanks, Mark." I think Mark actually does listen to the podcast. So shout out to Mark. We put that bottle of whiskey to good use. And then, yeah, he put the bourbon whipped cream in there with a little bit of cream soda. And oh my gosh,
Was it good?
it was special.
I saw you carrying it around. There wasn't much of a dent in it.
I drank the whole thing. That bourbon whipped cream was kind of the highlight. But yeah, Jameson forgot what happened to the chocolate pecan pies?
forgot them.
Well, what happened to him?
Where are they now?
There, Claire found a use for them. Yes, they did not go to waste.
Well, that's good.
So yeah, there's
I
going to be
was
some.
hoping that they'd be here when we got back so that I could take one. So that we could cut into that when we got home, but they were gone.
Yeah, I'm in a dry out period. No, man, we ate good, drank a little bit, and yeah, had a super time. That was a pretty outstanding trip. I would think, like, learning wise, like back to kind of tactical fishing strategy, I would say shortening, running that Scandi line with that really short leader.
Yeah.
That head, that long floating head could drive that thing around right where I wanted it to. Yeah. The other thing I would say is I think Steve hit on this, so maybe he can add a little bit, but like you want the perfect swing, but like you can't get it a lot of times in that
A lot
water.
of times you can't.
You have to just fish
No,
it.
you just need tension.
You just kind of,
As long as you got tension. I mean, I've caught a lot of steelhead in back eddies where if you've got tension, they'll eat it.
Yeah, you got to know when to just grind through it. And then there's certain times you do have to reel in, walk past the dead spot, and then go. Like there's a balance, right? Because you can't just skip a bunch of that all day. It's good water, but
Yeah.
there's definitely an art to how you manage your time.
Well, there's definitely a lot of water on the Snake and the Grand Ronde. Grand Ronde, not so much when it's high like this, but in low water, where casting long is a detriment. I mean, you don't get a swing if you cast long. If you cast short and put your head in that soft flowing current and let it pull the fly through, you can still get a swing in that slow inside stuff.
That's kind of what I was talking about. Obviously, you can catch fish on any configuration. We all fish different stuff, and we all had, success. But yeah, with that Scandi line being longer, I could keep that belly of the line in that slow water, not just my mono, cutting through that. And so I could kind of hold it down and bring it across. Obviously you can catch fish on a whole bunch of different stuff, but I think it's important, like whatever gear you fish, like get good at fishing, like whatever rig you're fishing, get good at fishing that rig. I think changing too much, whether it's tips or, weighted fly versus unweighted fly versus swapping heads all the time or grabbing a new rod. I think there's definitely an art to just managing how you spend your time, when you're stepping through some of that stuff. I think is as big a skill that you can have. And I think that just takes a lot of reps on the water. You just got to go out there and get your line wet.
Mm-hmm.
You learn anything from Neufeld or any of the other guys that kind of jumped out at you?
I mean, Neufeld especially, we learned a lot from. I feel like a lot of just like he looks at the river from like a very broad point of view to start, and then starts to narrow it down to where the fish are going to be. Like when all the spots we fished, he's like, well, look at the whole river, right? Look way down river, look what they're coming from. And like say like one spot, he's like, look, they have to come through this rapid, and then there's a little slick spot on the right side, and he's like, they have to come through that little slick spot because all this, there's a bunch of whitewater churny stuff on the left, right? He's like, they're not going to come through that. There's a 20-foot wide little slick that they're going to skirt up on the bank on the right side, and then there's a bunch of heavy water out to the left, and then there's a little, subtle pocket on the inside. And he's like, the fish are gonna have to come up this from, way down below. And then he just kind of takes the whole river and just narrows it. And he's like, okay, the fish have to be right here. Let's swing right here.
Just reading water on a macro scale.
On a like starting on a more broad scale than I do, though, I think. Because a lot of times it's easy to just pull up to a spot and be like, wow, that took a good run. Let's swing it. And then you look at the river and you're like, why would they ever be over here? There's a giant gravel bar that cuts halfway across the river, like 200 yards below this, that would push the fish to the other side of the river right here.
Just taking a breath and not worrying so much about where to park, like, et cetera. Like, just look at the river as a big picture.
Yeah.
Figure out where those kind of I call them bedding zones.
Yeah.
Hunting term,
That's
like
exactly
where are they going to bed down? We know they're going to walk through here or swim through here, but where are they going to bed down, right?
Yeah.
Something Eric Nickham brought up when we were driving down and we were talking to Jameson and Jonathan, just trying to download as much intel as we could to them, is he read this in Herzog's book on drift fishing, was always trying to read the water looking upstream. You're like when you float down a stream or you drive down a stream, you're looking downhill, but you actually don't get to see as much of the structure, but always trying to read water looking upstream so that you could see all the benches and the hills.
Yep.
I thought that was a really good tip on reading water.
Yeah. That's helped me. That tip specifically from that book has helped me a lot in the canyon.
You've read that book as well?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Books are, unfortunately print media is dying, but I feel like books were written by somebody who cares an awful lot, that's not trying to sell you anything other than a publication.
Yeah.
Like books are incredibly useful.
Herzog has a book on spoon fishing that, like, if you're into spay fishing, you should read that. There's a ton of parallels in the spoon to, it's a gear fishing book, but the parallels in his spoon book and what you should do when you're spay fishing, there's a ton of stuff that you can grab little tidbits out of. It's a really, really good read.
Danny, anything that you took away from this trip other than just get your waders back on, get your ass in the river and stick with it? Advice that you learned?
I had to obviously relearn my lesson of fishing hard, which
you were fishing hard, Danny. You had a garbage bag wrapped around your leg because your waders were leaking so bad.
This is true.
Oh, God, Jameson's waders.
Did do that?
Dude, so at the end of the day, Jameson goes to take his waders off. One, he was wearing sweatpants under Carhartts. And then he took his waders off in front of Kevin Sloan from Squaw, who is, appreciates technical gear and good waders and the proper layering. Jameson his Carhartts were absolutely soaked from his hip to his leg, like full of water, like absolutely full of water. And your waders were leaking too?
I didn't. The plastic bag only worked one time.
Someone else, Harwood, had the leaky waders too.
Yeah, I was drenched every day.
I'm like, why didn't you just grab a pair of rental waders that we have?
It didn't cross my mind because I got those waders and I tried them once and they didn't leak. And I was like, all right, these are going to be like,
and these are like, these aren't a new pair of waders. Let's be
they're
clear.
probably like
original
30
Sims
years old.
Gore-Tex.
They're the first ever pair of Sims Gore-Tex waders. So I have these waders and I was like, they won't leak. They'll be okay.
All waders
crazy.
All waders are going to leak eventually.
Fortunately, it wasn't too cold down there.
No, it was warm.
No,
Nice.
it was
Warm.
great weather. I couldn't complain. Go ahead.
My favorite was Danny was complaining about his waders leaking, and we had been in a kind of a tricky wade all morning, and he goes to take his wading jacket off, And he goes, "Oh, that's why I'm so wet." He waited like 6 or 8 inches above his weight. He was. I was like, "Dang, he's really going for it now." And then he comes back and he like takes his jacket off. And he's like, "Oh," his line was like up to his chest.
Oh, you took water over the gunnel, dude. Yeah, there's some big wading out there, man. Yeah, some super big wading. Bob, you got any concluders?
Well, one thing that I was reminded about is just how important it is to put your anchor in the right spot. Man, I tell you, my cast would just zip across the river when you get that anchor in the right spot.
Yeah.
And if it's not in the right spot, it's struggle bus.
Tailing loops are guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't, when we get on the trip, we got a lot of guys that are new to casting, and I'll give them a tidbit here and there, but we have all the opportunity in the world. I mean, we work on the river here at Reds, and you guys, a lot of you guys go out and work on your spay game all the time. Jonathan worked really hard to pre-funk.
He looked amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he worked really hard on prepping for the trip. And Jameson, I was fishing with Jameson a good part of the time, mentoring him. But you got to give people just a little tidbit here and there, and then let them fish. But yeah, I mean, we're fishing river left a lot, and as long as there's not an extreme downstream wind, we're throwing a snap team very commonly. But yeah, his anchor was about 2 rod lengths away, and I could just see him struggling. And I walked down, I said, "Man, you've got to put that fly like 1 rod length away from you. The closer that fly is to you, the more powerful your cast." I mean, obviously there's a safety threshold of bringing that fly in too tight because you can then hook yourself. But that one little tip for him, I mean, his cast, the efficiency just doubled, and he started getting max distance again, because a lot of the time on the big river, you're pretty much casting as far as you can consistently cast most every time.
Yeah.
You're not hoping 1 out of 3 lands tight. You have to have 3 out of 3 landing tight. But yeah, you have to have you got to follow the rules, basically. I mean, all this stuff was engineered to work in a certain fashion. And that's a huge tip that's super basic,
Yeah, that's what brought up our Perry Poke discussion. And
Right.
Bob talking about the anchor placement. Because it was like, that's the nice thing about the pokes. It's so deliberate. You go plop,
Puts your anchor there.
anchors right here.
Yes.
And that was a big help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very slow developing cast. So you can actually set it and go, yep, I want it right there.
That's what
Yeah.
Bobby said he doesn't do. He's like, "Man, it takes too long."
Yeah, I don't like it. It takes too long, but
I snake roll
And it's noisy.
90% of my casts, as long as I'm not tight to the bank river left.
Double.
I actually started to snake roll a lot left hand up.
mhm.
And when I started to get tired, the challenge with that is handling your running line when you're trying to do the
Your
50-50. Yeah, you're trying to 50-50 your running line. But I found it pretty easy to make the cast. It was just handling the running line was a little bit challenging. But yeah, it was super trip. I think next year, I'm going to at least spend part of the time fishing a modern rod.
Yeah.
I think I'll still bring the old one out, like Steve driving his Mustang on a nice sunny day. But I think my daily driver, I'm going to upgrade a little bit. I don't know what rod I'm going to get yet. I mean, everybody's making such nice rods.
They're all.
DH2.
DH2, 4th owner. All right, I think that's it. Unless anybody has any powerful concluders here.
It's a great trip.
Yeah, super.
Do it again next year.
Yeah, super trip. I'm going to work on my poker game, work on my cast a little bit, and we're going to make sure we don't leave Jameson in charge of bringing the freaking dessert.
Yep.
There was one letdown of the trip. Jameson forgetting the chocolate pecan pie.
I was pretty disappointed.
Pretty damn good trip. That's the only thing. Oh, Ashton got sick. That's
That was a
good
bummer.
trip.
Ashton
Yeah.
Healthy, I think, is on the priority list.
I was surprised she didn't get one last time she got sick. She got one.
This is true.
She did. Yeah. But that was a bummer for her, but we'll be back next year, and she always brings such good positive energy. So it was bummed she had to stay in and kind of rest up one day, and then she did get out a little bit the last day. But yeah, anyway, thanks for listening, folks. Come see us at the Rendezvous May 2nd. You'll hear more about that on the podcast. And as always, go follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and support our sponsor, Reds Fly Shop.
Yeah.
Shop with us. Thanks, everybody.